evolved into a skirt made of strips and panels of cloth overlapping like scales or feathers. Even from her position on the rock, sitting with her legs dangling, the skirt moved restlessly around her legs, as if it had a mind of its own. The hose she wore were also green and embroidered with tiny gold butterflies. Her feet were bare and possessed of longish, shapely toes that seemed to have an extra joint. The woman, he realized, was entirely green. Hair, which she wore long and intricately bound up in silver and gold threads. Eyes, except for the white part and the pupil, and her skin, which was really the telling feature. The color could be paint. He had thought it must be, knowing as he did that human people did not come in green. But now he was certain that green was her natural shade. She smiled, green lips breaking over teeth small and white as pearls, only sharper. "Ivar Valenko," she said. His patronymic was not exactly secret, but it also wasn't meant for, as Messer Rupert put it, general consumption. Ivar was supposed to be dead, and probably would have been except for Rory. And if it became widely known that he wasn't, Dame Maggie might say he couldn't remain on the farm with Grit and Rupert anymore. Ivar knew what exile meant. Textbook knowing again. He ranked it just above extended time in cryostasis for desirability. So, he was not at all pleased that this green woman sitting on his favorite rock knew his name. Messer Rupert had said hello was the preferred manner in which to greet people one did not know. The green woman had already violated that protocol. Ivar borrowed his manners from Grit, who usually snorted when Messer Rupert, pronounced on etiquette, skipped the greeting and went straight to the thing he most wanted to know. "What do you want?" The green woman's green eyebrows climbed. Her smile remained, if a little stiffer now, sharp as her teeth. "Most people ask what I am first." Ivar shrugged. He had learned if he didn't say anything for long enough that two things happened. One, he could not get into trouble for saying the wrong thing, and two, people tended to lose patience and say whatever it was they'd intended in the first place. "You certainly didn't get a naming, did you?" the green woman muttered. Her smile had turned into a husk of itself. "Charm is the first thing we hand out at those. Well, not the first thing I hand out. I usually get stuck with great strength or physical prowess or whatever best fits the father's expectations." That confirmed it. This was a fairy. Ivar forgot to be suspicious. Or rather, he set his suspicions aside. Rory had told him about the fairies that had attended her naming and the gifts they'd handed out. He had thought at the time she'd been teasing him, even though Messer Rupert and Grit had, when pressed, confirmed the account. "There were unknown Xenos present," Messer Rupert had said, and Grit had made one of her faces which was as good as verbal confirmation. Ivar had been vaguely jealous at the time. His father, and later Moss, had been relentlessly dismissive of anything which did not conform to his worldview, including fairies, imagination, and cats. He eyed the fairy. "What did you give Rory for her naming?" "I gave her the ability to play the harp, which I understand she subverted to good cause." The fairy smiled, this time without teeth or humor. "If I'm called for a prince, I give things like incredible strength and physical resilience, but there's not much call for brawny princesses. Bet someone's regretting that now." "She's not a princess anymore." "She's still Rory Thorne," the green fairy said enigmatically. "To answer your first question, I want you to deliver a message for me." Cold sweat prickled on Ivar's skin. He hated talking to people, with very few exceptions, and 4 of those exceptions had left Lanscott almost 2 years ago. "You should talk to Messer Rupert or Grit." The fairy snorted. She sounded a bit like a sheep when she did it. "That's who I want you to tell. Rupert's the one who most needs to hear this, but he's also the one most likely to get fixated on what I am and where I came from and how I